Hey y'all, welcome to this episode of Vern's Misadventures. Well, OpenSuse Leap 15.2 is available now. I have a virtual machine we can upgrade, and I'd like to see what it's like to upgrade it through the terminal. So there's some steps on the OpenSuse wiki that shows how we go about that. Let's do this. Alright, so let's see. First thing we're going to do, now I've just recently upgraded VirtualBox to the latest version, which I believe is, let's see here. It says 6.0.22 is the version I'm using. So here is our OpenSuse Leap web server. You might remember that from some other videos if you watched them. Not many people did. But basically it's a desktop with the Apache server, and at any rate it's just basically a desktop version of OpenSuse with the GNOME desktop, and it's Leap 15.1. We're going to upgrade that to 15.2. So to begin, we'll just start. Well, I think we're going to clone what we have right now in case this goes badly. And that's one major advantage to having your machines in a virtual device. Let's see, we're going to name this OpenSuse Leap 15.1 web server. And we can get rid of the clone part, I think. Put the R back, we just delete it. And that should be good. So we'll go next. We're going to do a full clone, a quick clone. Okay, so our clone operation is finished. It didn't take nearly as long as what it said it was going to take. So whatever that was about. Alright, let's go ahead and get our web server updated. So we start. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do a Control F to enter full screen. So here we are. Alright, so here we go. Here's what we got to do. It says check to see if the update repository already exists is enabled and update before upgrading. So zipper repos -- URI. Paste that in there. So there's the command we're going to run first. And what we're concerned about is repo update. Yeah, here we go. So repo update, main repository, yes. So we want to make sure that it's flagged as yes. It is enabled, so we can skip worrying about. We're going to move var cache to a separate subvolume. Okay, so it looks like we have df/. So we use that one to identify the device that is our root file system, which in our case is SDA2. So this one here, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to run this command. And what this is going to do is going to look for, is to identify the parent subvolume of all other subvolumes. This was a subvolume named with @ so that's why we're repping the @ symbol. Command not found. Subvolume list. If the output of this command is empty, you do not have subvolume named with an @ In that case, you may be able to proceed. Okay. Alright, so here we're going to go to Control X to get out of this. Paste. And our root device, we figured out with the previous step here, was SDA2. So we can replace root device with SDA2. Let's do sudo bang bang. Okay, that worked. Okay, so we're gonna this would be to move our old var cache into var cache. Copy and paste this. So we're gonna make a new file called cache old out of our existing var cache. Well, it says we have that, so let's see if this command works. Okay, I forgot sudo again, so we'll just do sudo bang bang. Let's not add extra characters now. Alright, created subvolume, mount var cache, good. Alright, now we're going to move our backup to the newly created cache, I guess. Crap. You know what I need to do? I need to do su. There, now we don't worry about that again. So we just paste that same command right here. Alright? And it's done. Okay. Now we can remove the one we had created before. Just paste this. Alright, and what that did was remove fully, mount var cache old, because we've already moved. Now we can unmount the subvolume. Paste. So we're going to unmount our mount point. Add an entry to FSTAT for the new var cache subvolume, using an existing subvolume as a template to copy from. Now we can go to nano etc FSTAT. Isn't that nice? Okay, I guess that does it. Okay, cool now. Now we can do FSTAT. So it says add an entry to FSTAT for the new var cache subvolume. So we can use this as a, I guess we would put that after var. I guess we'll put it here. Tab over. Zero, zero. We'll just do tab 0, tab 0. Alright, I guess. Control O to write it out, enter to accept, Control X to close. Okay. This wiki leaves something to be desired, that's for sure. Alright, I'm going to take another look at FSTAT. Let's go down here. Control X. Oh crap. Yeah, we want to change it. So if we look at it now, it should be as we left it. It is. Alright, let's see here. What do we do next? Since that ain't working out, let's just see if we can just skip it. Alright, so now I do a zipper refresh. And then from there we can go zipper update. So click yes. Now this will update our operating system to the latest updates available for 15.1. Alright, let's take a look here. So we're at this point right here, update to the latest packages. Then you're going to go and run the update. Now this will only work, it says the above will only work if leap is defined using the release server variable. If they're still hard-coded, then you need to modify them first. Now I'm not sure this is complete information because I looked at this one here. Now this is an article on Nixcraft. We can actually find out if the version number is hard-coded or not right here before we try to do this and then either succeed or fail, possibly making a mess of things. And the question here is gonna come down to right here, whether it uses this release server right here, variable right here. Now if it's hard-coded, this is what we will actually find, and that it uses 15.1. It doesn't use a variable at all, it just uses the actual release. I guess we could just try it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, then we'll have to change it. So we're going to run this line. Okay, looks like the updates are installed. Now we can just do a reboot. Alrighty, so let's get the terminal open. Alright, let's see if we can paste that command in there. Yes, we are using the variable, so we're good. We don't have to do anything. You see where it says release server right here? So if you didn't have the release server, you'd have to run the command sudo sed sed. I don't know which version you should use, whether so if you look here on the Nixcraft, if you look at here, they're basically saying you need to do all this fun stuff here. I'll link to these articles in the description, but since we don't need to mess with it, we're not going to be doing that. So the next thing to do, alright, so before we run the update command, we're going to want to go to run level 3, and there's a couple ways you could do that, but when you're already running, the way to do it is to simply do an init 3. So zipper release, so we're going to just paste this here. Before we do that, let's go to SU. Nice. Now we just do it here. Yeah, okay. So we'll do that, and then we'll try going back with our init 3 after we finish this, and then we can run that other line. Okay, so now at this point we'll just do an init 3. And the reason we do this is because this could cause the X server to crash. And then it may not finish the upgrade, and you could end up with a broken system. Zipper. Oh, release ver, I see. Release equals 15.2. "11 packages are going to be downgraded. 2 packages are going to change. The following 7 packages require a system reboot." Continue, yes. So this is going to work for a while, looks like. Alright, so I guess it's done with whatever it's going to do. Let me see. We've got some notifications. Let's see. Yes. Q to exit this, and we can just do a reboot. R-E-B-O-O-T. Oh, we're full screen now. No, we're not. We're not full screen. It's still reading the hard drive. Looking at the little indicator here. Oh, here we go. There we go. As we can see here, we got we do have OpenSuse Leap 15.2 now. And we will just do devices, insert the guest editions. Ta-da! How about that? So at that point, we can just go reboot. Looking good so far. Alright, well, our dash to dock isn't working. Maybe I ought to see about that next. There's the tweaks. Extensions. Well, that's useful. We get an error. Nice. That wasn't so difficult now, was it? Alright, y'all, well, we got it updated. We do have OpenSuse Leap 15.2 on the machine now. I would like to go over a few lessons learned along the way. First of all, the variable in question was not release server, it was release ver for release version. I'm sure that people who do this more often than me and are far more knowledgeable were probably yelling at the screen. I apologize for that. Sometimes we invent letters and just let our assumptions take over, right? So I apologize for that. It is release version, release ver. So moving on from that, the other thing we learned here was it's not quite as easy as just simply running the zippered up, right? Distribution upgrade. Now, on Facebook, I'm a member of the OpenSuse group, and I see comments like that quite frequently. I don't argue with them. It's just I've learned to know better. Point being, it is a little more complicated than that because you have to create a new subvolume. You have to add it to your FSTAT file. Here, let me make this a little larger for us. FSTAT stands for File System Table, FSTAT. So FSTAT. So let's have a look at our Etsy FSTAT real quick. Alright, so if I was going to do that again, you know, where you have to add that one, I think what I would do is I would just simply go find the one there where it says var, right? And I would highlight it from beginning to end, right? So all the way to those zeros right there. And then I would simply say copy, right? Then I would come down with my arrows to the line beneath it. I would make a space and simply up arrow and then just right click, paste. Okay, that'll save all the other nonsense I had to do to get everything all lined up and everything. Now, I say that with a little bit of a caveat because I'm always so tempted to just click in there. You can't do that. You have to use the arrow key to scroll over. So at this point, you would simply add the slash and the cache, right? You'd add it there, and then you add it here. Oops. You'd add it there, and then you come back over here, and you'd simply remove a few spaces, and everything's done. And then at that point, you would simply Control-O to write it out. Because I don't want to save the changes, I'm just going to do Control-X, and I'm going to put no. I don't want to save the changes. There's no reason to mount something twice. But I did want to cover that as part of the lessons learned. Now, that said, so that should just about do it here. Another thing I wanted to cover for lessons learned was having to do with the dash to dock here, right? So if we look at our tweaks and our extensions, you see that I have the applications menu, which of course is a categorical menu for your applications over here. Now that one and also the dash to dock had both failed after the upgrade. And I wasn't sure exactly how to upgrade them because certain distros do it different ways, and I get a little confused sometimes. So what I did learn was that in OpenSuse, you would simply open up Firefox and you would go to extensions.gnome.org. You go over there and you can click on installed extensions right here, and see where it had showed a failed deal over there next to that, right? And so it failed there and it failed here. And so when you click on the tools right here, it gave the option. Actually, I think it was a gear, if memory serves. So there was a gear there. And you click on the one that offers you to update, right? And you just simply install the update. And then it's going to come back and say failed or error, right? Well, the reason you got to do that, it's going to error, is you're going to have to reload the desktop for it to work. So just update those two if you're using them, the applications menu and update dash to dock. And then that's why I logged out. So simply go over there and you close that and just click on this little arrow over here and click on your name and click log out. And then once you log back in, it resets the desktop. And as you saw in the video there, once I reset the desktop, all of a sudden dash to dock was working. My icons were down here where I put them, and also the applications menu was working, which is what I was attempting to demonstrate. Those were the two main things. Now, as I had mentioned in the video, the wiki could use a little polish. They asked me to run some commands that didn't work for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't want to speculate why they didn't work. But the upgrade went through without having to do those couple things. One was wanting me to mount my var cache, and that, as I demonstrated by going into the file, change directory into the file, I was able to get in there. So you wouldn't be able to do that if the volume was not mounted. So it was already mounted. And then the other issue was they wanted to search for the @ for the subvolumes, and that command didn't work to search for them. So as I showed in the video, I went into my FSTAT file and I saw that it had mounted them as a subdirectory @ and then their various names. So I figured that was confirmation enough for me, because it had mounted them in such a manner that I didn't need to run the other command to search to see if they were called that. So I moved on with the next step, and so far so good. The operating system seems to be operating just fine. I haven't found any major issues other than those desktop extensions. Oh, the other thing I was trying to do here in the video, here's the last thing I'm going to cover, and then we'll be done here, and I'll close the video out. So the last thing here was I tried to do the install the guest editions, and you get this error here where it says it's unable to insert there, right? And go to details, right? So I'm like, okay, whatever. So then I ran into the terminal, and I found that wasn't exactly true, because it did mount that. And it had a mount point. And you just do the lsblk, and I call that list block. And if you go down here, you see this SR0 right here, and that is that run media vern, and then lo and behold, look at that, it's inserted. But what it wasn't able to do was to run, wasn't able to run the script automatically. So all I did was I changed directory into here. So I just copied right here and I did a change directory, and then a space, and then just pasted. So it's already mounted with a mount point, right? So all you have to do is just go into there. And then at that point, you can look around inside. And this is all of your extensions that are available to the various operating systems that can be installed in VirtualBox. So you have to make sure you get the Linux one, right? And in order to run a script, you simply do // And you have to do it with sudo, so you have to do sudo / and then just start typing vbox, or you could probably do a copy. Let's see if I can copy there. So let's say I wanted to do the Linux. Oops, careful. So yeah, I just do copy, and then / and then paste. And that would have worked just as well. Instead, what I did was I typed it, vbox, and then li or lin. All you need is enough to distinguish it from another file. Then you can press tab to complete. But it would have been easier just to paste that. So there's another lesson learned. You're going to do this, just paste it. Easy enough. Yeah. So that puts us back where we were. So pretty much that's it. I'm going to close the video out now. Thanks for watching. I hope you found the information useful, entertaining, something along those lines. We'll see y'all in the next one, alright? Y'all take care.